Hi, how are you? It's been a while. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It's been pretty busy around here. I I just have been following a lot of different stories, trying to see how they connect. Um, the main thing that's been on my mind for, I don't know, the last week or two has been that Travis Hunter story. And I think the reason it's so interesting to me is because I think every millennial has been through a situation like that. Not the, uh, same exact thing. But it sucks when you're like in love with someone that fucking doesn't like you. And I see so much of like young me and Travis. I'm just like, oh no, this poor fucking kid. He's just super nice, super sweet, super optimistic, thinks the best of the world, has good intentions, and thinks everyone else does too, and doesn't realize that there's like really bad people out there. Um, and yeah, just like the whole vibe of like any time that he's filmed with his girlfriend, like she's the center of the frame, he's off to the side for the last 2 weeks since he won his Heisman Trophy. Basically, his girlfriend has gotten nonstop coverage because she's just that bad. I keep seeing people trying to be like, oh, you need to leave him alone, it's none of your business. Like, are you fucking for real right now? Like, what? How can you see someone getting absolutely dogged out? And not just someone, this is a kid that's about to be like famous and get drafted. And every year, someone gets drafted. Almost every year there's athletes getting hosed by women that don't love them. And it's sad, it's hard, it's like something you want to stop from happening because love is out there for everyone. I don't know why, like crummy people try to attach themselves to good people, but like it's happened to me so much in my life. That I just really relate a lot to his predicament. And it's really dumb because people keep saying like, oh, you can't tell him what to do. Like, yeah, you clearly can. He's being told what to do. So like, I totally reject that notion that like you can't convince him of anything, because that girl has convinced him of all kinds of crazy things, and she is very unattractive. I don't mean to be rude, but I mean, I could go to the mall in Arizona and see like a dozen girls that look just like her. The main difference is that those girls are like working and they have a job, and they're not just like taking their clothes off for money. Like I don't get it. He was 16 when he met this girl, and no one thinks that's weird. Like, that's oh my god. Like, what? It's so hard. I just can't believe that people are not like putting them. Maybe people don't have kids, so they're not like, wee wee wee. I would be so alarmed if my teenager was dating someone 3 years older than them that was a stripper, and I'm just like, yeah, it's cool. You do what you want, son. What? And then come to find out that like, not only is she a stripper, bad enough, she like has her brother living with them. Travis doesn't even sleep in the same room as her. Like, it's like they're acting like a divorced couple that's been together a long ass time. I just watched a video and a guy was saying something like that. Like, older couples will do that when they've been together for like 20 years. They haven't known each other long enough for the honeymoon period to have worn off. Especially, it seems like they haven't really been living together that long. So I'm just like, I feel so bad for this kid. He just seems like such a sucker. Just being like way too nice, driving his girl to parties and letting her get drunk, and him being naive and thinking that she's just drinking. No, man. Like, I've always been the outlier in my friend group, because like people always called me a prude and a goody two shoes or whatever. And yeah, so like I didn't get invited to a lot of stuff, because if I saw a friend that was dating someone go like bumping and grinding on someone, I would be like, hey, don't you have a boyfriend? What happened with Cody? What, are you guys not dating anymore? And like, I'd blow up their spot. So people have always gotten really mad at me for stuff like that, and I'm just like so autistic. I'm just like, what? Like, you're doing something wrong. That's bad. You shouldn't be doing that. And like, rather than them being like, oh, you're right, I am doing something wrong, I should change my life, I should just break up with this person. But like, some people that are like really scummy and like low watt people, they're drawn to like the bright flame of like someone that really loves themselves. And you can tell that Travis like has a really good heart. He seems like a really, really sweet person. He just seems like a sweet guy. And it hurts me because all of the people that I had in my life when I was that age just came along and like tried to take a shit on me, just like his girlfriend is doing. And he's just so, at the time, anytime anyone would tell me that they thought my friends were assholes or that they didn't really like me, I couldn't, like, most of the time when people brought that up to me, I was really drunk. So I had like a much bigger reaction than if I had not been drunk. So to me, considering that Travis is sober, this should be very sobering information for him, because it was for me. But because people introduced that subject or these subjects to me when I was really drunk, it took me a long time to like unravel those feelings. Because, you know, when you get drunk, you're like all over the place. Like everything's just a lot harder to deal with. So, and I'm one of those people, I can't drink much, I'll just start like vomiting. So my friends would do that a lot. If I like made them uncomfortable or noticed that somebody in a relationship was trying to hook up with someone else, they would just like get me really drunk, and then I wouldn't like remember for a while. So yeah, he says he's sober. I hope that he is. He just seems like a really nice person. And to me, it seems like he's being taken advantage of. Maybe he's trying to pretend like he's sober and they're getting him really fucked up. I don't know 100%, but what I do know 100% is that girl does not like him. She's like pretending to like him. And they think that he doesn't have like any street smarts, like that he can't pick up on that. And it's something that's like kind of hard about kids that have been like kind of sheltered, is that they haven't like had fake friends, you know. They've had bullies, they've had best friends, but they haven't had like that weird gray area that a lot of kids like from the inner city will do, where like they don't like you, but like they won't tell you that. If you're from like a rural area, there's no like space for you to be like passive aggressive and weird like that. But inner city kids do that a lot. And in the course of you know, my 20s, I had so many weird interactions with kids from the inner city that like thought I had it so good, or that life where I was from was like so much better, even though like, you know, it's like the same kind of thing with people that like want to live off grid. It sounds good, but it's a lot of work. And like living in a super rural area where there's not a whole lot of anything sounds cool, I guess, to some people. But the reality of it is that you have to be like really clever and plan ahead and resourceful and personable to be able to live in a community that's like very isolated. So, and inner city kids like don't understand that. Like they're just used to being duplicitous to get their way. And so I see a lot of that same energy in her that I'd seen in so many of the different people that I knew in the art scene. So all of my alarm bells have been going off for a bunch of different reasons. Maybe what's important to me or sticks out to me won't stick out to other people. But I think the most alarming thing across the board was just the Heisman ceremony and her just fucking sitting there. Like the camera's on him and she's not like, she's just waiting for the camera to be on her, right? So she's like, I think she tried to make it look bad so that she could get more people to talk about her. I think she's trying to get some guy to holler at her I'm not sure what kind of strategy this is. Because I think there's more good people than bad. I think, maybe I could be wrong about that, but it feels yucky to do bad things. It feels really yucky. So it's just not a sustainable, like, long-term model. Even villains turn good. You know, there's so many stories of, like, the villain, you know, like, turning the other way. So it's just like, you don't often see good guys wanting to be bad. So I don't know, I'm looking at this story and I'm thinking about my life, and what really was the clinch pin for me, I don't know. I think it was a number of different things. I don't know if it was any one thing, and I think that's hard for people on the outside. They're like, oh, this should have been it, or that should have been it. When you're just like, when you've been kind of a sheltered kid, I think part of him wants to go out and have these crazy experiences and feel like he's living life, because he's probably just been playing a lot of football and not doing a whole lot of anything. So to him, this might be fun. And he doesn't realize how dangerous it is. Because strippers aren't like fun. You know, like, it's not fun for them. Like, I'm a waiter, and I've been a waiter on purpose. I've met a lot of women like that who are like, oh, you can make so much more money as a stripper. And I'm just like, you're crazy. I don't have to take my clothes off. Why on earth would I take a job where I'm fully clothed, from all you see are my hands and my face? Why on earth would I trade a job where I'm fully clothed, I make a shit ton of money, I have a good work-life balance, to work on? I mean, are you fucking crazy? Like, strippers just don't make any logical sense to me as a woman. When there's so many ways for you to make money without objectifying yourself, seeing women that are willing to do that, they're gonna objectify you too. You know, it just makes me think back to a lot of my friendships that I had in my early 20s. Again, and then me being a prude. So many of my friends have given me a hard time, said I'm asexual, which in our modern society, I definitely qualify, because I just don't think about sex as much as other people do at all. Sex can be really draining for me. It's not something that I necessarily enjoy doing unless I really, really have strong feelings for someone. And even if I do have strong feelings for them, if they're an asshole, who fucking cares? No thanks. No. And I see sometimes guys are the opposite. You know, they like want girls to be mean so it can like prove something in their head. But it's like their own weird like kink. So I think that's probably what's going on with this kid more than anything, which is weird and sad. He could pay a professional, you know, someone to like, you know, be a dominatrix to him, and he probably could write up a contract, have it be a lot more lucrative than whatever situation he's doing, because he's getting absolutely humiliated in public. If you have a fetish and you like that, that's supposed to be a fucking private thing that nobody knows about, nobody hears about, it doesn't leak out into the rest of your life. He's like just doing it all wrong. He needs to like get in touch with a sex therapist and get things squared away, because the other thing that really brings this issue close to my heart is that I've worked thousands of weddings. I've done so many fucking weddings. I feel like I'm a really good judge of if people are in love or not, because I've seen people get married really quickly and have like a fast engagement, and for reasons unknown, and then they're divorced 5 years later. And very rarely I've heard of people having a short engagement and staying together for a long time. That's very, very rare. It's so much more common when you have a rushed engagement. You also, the relationship breaks off typically within 2 to 5 years at most. So I see the writing on the wall. She's trying to rush the engagement. She already paid for the venue. Where they're trying to get married is nowhere where anybody lives, so it's a destination wedding, which is expensive. Who's paying for the travel? Obviously, Travis is. She said she already paid for it herself, probably with his money. She's bought him a vehicle, again, probably with his money. She seems to handle most of his financial decisions, so she could be doing pretty much anything with his money that he has already. And again, they live in 2 different bedrooms, which if they had been married for 20 years, I might not bat an eye at. at that. But she has her own bedroom. It's all pink. She says she works from home. I don't know who the fuck would pay her to do anything from home. It just, I'm just so, what an actual nightmare for him. I feel so bad for that kid. I can't even really put it into words, because I'm just like, wow, all of that, just a huge big bundle of red flags. And I'm trying to put myself in his shoes and remember when my life was a huge fucking dumpster fire. When did I realize it was like falling apart? I guess the one thing that always sticks out to me is when I got into an argument with one of my hipster friends, a guy who I really liked. I was a little drunk. He was a little drunk. I was having fun. I thought we were having a fun argument, and he got really mad. And guys usually do that. They just usually, like, they'll joke with you. They'll fuck with you. They'll talk about your hair, your looks, your face, the way you dress, everything. And then when you push back a little bit on them, they blow up. And I think it's the same thing with Travis. Like, Travis seems like a super easygoing guy. He'll give up his chair. He's like, just seems super nice. And I think anything that he says to his girlfriend, she's like, no. And it was the same thing with this friend of mine. I think that's when I started realizing, like, oh, we have like a surface level, I have a surface level relationship with all these people. I think we have a much deeper connection, and it's not. It doesn't go deep. It's very shallow. It's about probably this deep of a relationship, and I'm thinking it's like this huge, deep, long thing. And so, yeah, I think Travis is thinking the relationship is forever, and she's thinking it's for right now. And, yeah, I don't think I realized in that moment, like, what the fight meant, but I knew it was, like, significant enough. I was like, that was really weird. And the way my boyfriend talked to me, like, you should go. That was really weird, you know? Yeah, there were just a number of things that happened after that point where I'd have unusual conversations with people, and I'd be like, did they know something that I don't? And meanwhile, right, I'm speaking to you 10 years after the fact. This is me finding out 10 years later that my boyfriend had slept with not only, like, a friend of mine from work, but he had slept with, like, a friend of mine that I had made, and like, we all hung out together. So it was this extra complex thing of me being like, oh my God, wait, all of those weird feelings and suspicions that I had of, like, something's happening. They're really flirtatious. Why are they always, like, off together? And why did they give me a couple shots of liquor and then disappear? Like, Now I'm like, you fucking dummy. Like, they were doing it right under your nose, and you just wanted to be naive, and you didn't want to see it. And anyone that tried to tell you, you were like, no, it couldn't possibly be. It's no big deal. I don't really care. Because you just lie to yourself. And then when your friends hear you say something like that drunk, they're like, well, I guess she doesn't care. It's like, are you retarded? Obviously I care. When you talk to someone drunk, they're going to give you a totally different reaction than if they were sober, because they know that you wouldn't react normally. That's why they're doing it. Just to kind of get a different reaction out of you, to control your reaction to what they've done. So, you know, and again, this is from me personally in my own life. This happened with my friends, my boyfriend, my coworker, and I guess I can say 2 coworkers, which is just so fucked up. You don't want to think things like that can happen, but they do. It happened to me, and in the moment, I didn't want to see it. But if somebody had actually sat me down and been like, look, girlfriend, I probably would have, and I was sober, I probably would have reacted like a normal, logical person. But you can't really expect addicts to think logically. So I've moved on. I've processed it. I've tried to understand why people would make a decision like that. And most of the time it just comes down to money. So in Travis's case, it seems like it's money and people enjoying this elevated lifestyle. And they're like, okay, the gravy train's here. Hello, lady. March.